Let's go. I'm Christopher Pitt, and welcome to the Pursuit to Own podcast. At Pursuit to Own, we are pursuing ownership at every level of life, whether it's mindset, business, life, or real estate. Our goal is to get you from renting to owning your future. See, I felt the pain of poverty growing up as a sharecropper in zip code 27843. I understand the struggle of living in a one-bedroom shack, owning nothing, not even running water. But I turned that pain into purpose by becoming a premier affordable housing community developer, providing 27,843 ownership opportunities in marginalized communities. Here's the truth. Ownership starts in your mind, regardless of your situation or location. Whether you are escaping the poverty trap, buying a home, or starting a business, the pursuit to own mindset is the key to unlocking your zip code and success. Join me to discuss new innovative ways to own real estate with tokenization, blockchain, crowdfunding, fractional ownership, and so much more. Let's go. Welcome back to the Pursuit to Own podcast with Christopher Pitt. I hope you stayed in pursuit because we're trying to get you at owning at every level of life. Now, today is going to be a really good one. It has been a really hot topic as well. As you can see, with all the changes in, funding, even from federal funding, state funding, and local funding, a lot of people are really starting to worry. A lot of organizations, a lot of nonprofit organizations are already worrying because they don't know what programs they can fund. All this means is that is another blow to the first-time home buyer, for sure. So what we're going to do today is really we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of it. We're going to get to figuring out a strategic plan for you to still own in today's market. Now, we're going to get down to some things that may be a little uncomfortable, but it's the truth, right? What I can't do is what I see happen to many others. Could be millions. We can't be sitting in the same home buying courses. Most of them are free with the same information from 10 years ago. The market has changed. The gap has got too wide. I'm calling this from the hilltop because what we don't want to do is put ourselves in a situation where we have mentally and emotionally committed to going down this journey of home ownership and then get to that point and you can't afford a home. I know that feeling. That is devastating to people. And what happens is when that person gets to that point and they get discouraged, they're not just affecting their life. They're affecting the generation to come. They're affecting their, kids, their grandkids they'll never see. Like, that's how important ownership is, and especially for first generation, right? That is the only thing that can be attainable. You can build wealth over time if you have the right plan. So we're going to talk about a couple things because I'm very passionate about this, but we're going to talk about the thing that I feel that is the most, needs the most mindset change, right? So most of the time when you're dealing with first generational people, right, you're dealing with people that's hardworking. They're always working. It's paycheck to paycheck, hour to hour kind of lifestyle. There's really no opportunity to really plan. Right? What you're doing is you're providing for your family, you're getting to work, you're taking care of your family, and that's your day. Now you have aspirations, but due to this, style of living and this season of your life, as I told you before, a struggle is just for a season once you get serious about succeeding, right? If you can identify it as this is just a season, and the only way you can do that if you know where you're going, if you have a plan in place that this is where I need to get to, those things will start to change for you. But right now, you got to think about this is a person who's getting up every day, going through traffic, getting the job, maybe not happy at work from what they're doing, probably underpaid for what they do, probably undervalued. So it's a lot going on, but they have this dream and this belief that they can be a homeowner one day. And that was, it's you have to start there. So let's say you have to start it. But what we're missing is you can't, we're not analyzing the gap anymore, right? What I see a lot of is We're saying that the homeownership rate has went down. Yes, but why? It's a lot of reasons why, right? We have big companies, the Blackstones of the world, buying these build-to-rent places, taking stuff off the market, causing more appreciation in the market, taking supply off the line for affordable housing. That's one, right? The other thing is we got to get to the point where you understand what wealth is, right? Because now, again, I'm putting on my asset manager hat from, I think of things and creating value for the shareholder, right? That's how I think, maximizing value, right? And here's the tip, or here's the thing that we're missing as first generational. The thing that keeps me up at night is when I go to communities and I'm doing some training, I'm teaching, and, the majority of that room is from people in that community. And normally this is, an underserved community or a community that I see that's on the path of progress, meaning that, I know some investment coming, might be 3, 4, 5 years out, but I know it's spurring economic investment, right? That's what I'm trying to teach our future home buyers, because you can't just get online and look at a home, if it's going to cost you every dollar in your bank account, right? You got to get really specific. You have to get really strategic about what you're buying. And a lot of that, you're going to have to take the filling out. And that's going to be hard for a lot of people. But what I'm trying to do is show you how to create wealth. Because sometimes you may need another step to where you really want to go. So the thing that I hear in these community meetings all the time is these people that live there will not own there. And I just don't understand that logic, right? Because here's the problem with that. They live there and they're willing to live there 5, 10, 15 years. Generation people still living there, right? You're renting the entire time, but you won't own. Now, the problem with all that is if someone would have had the courage to find something that they can afford, which is probably going to be probably not something that's, high dollar real estate at the time, which is an opportunity. It's a real opportunity, right? It's what I look for as a developer. I go to places where I can get the best value on real estate. That is what I need to train this next wave of homeowners on with Pursuit to Own, right? Because we got to get to the point where if we don't get that dream house, look, we all have a vision. Like, we don't, when you do, when you have this journey in your mind of home ownership or ownership of real estate, you're going to put up the home that you want. You're going to put the big backyard. You're going to put the 3 to 4 bedrooms. You're going to put, the barbecue, all these things on your board. And you should, because it should be motivating. No one is really going to put up, a abandoned house and hope renovation, because it's no motivation just looking at what abandoned house looked like, right? But that is what I'm challenging you to do. We're going to have to replace the dream home with maybe fixer-upper, what people say, or even, worse, abandoned homes, right? You got to look for opportunities. And I'm just being completely transparent because Pursuit to Own, we're not sugarcoating the problem. We're here to be a part of the solution, right? If you're getting outpaced by appreciation, inflation, you cannot make up the difference at your current job, at your current pay. You can't. You literally can't. So you're investing years of your life for a result that you're not going to attain. And that is simple because it's not a strategic plan. What I'm providing you today is the strategic plan. What I'm training people at Pursuit to Own to do is once they get the dream home box, right? We find something that's in there and it's just not affordable today. And that's okay. It may not be affordable today. What I do is shift them to another property that will create value for them. Yeah, it may not be in, that dream community. It may be down the street from where they currently live. But what it will do is start providing them with an opportunity to create wealth. See, that's the biggest misinformation that we're putting out in the universe right now is, we're forcing people to go to see all these great homes they can't afford. Let's get to the people that can't afford the home, right? Where is that? Let's be realistic about it. Let's be realistic about it. Because now what happens? Now I put you in a place that can create wealth for you. You're not renting anymore. You're not on any cost burden because you're pretty comparable to what your life was before. What's the difference? Now, if you wait 5, 10 years, now you can sit here and plan. It's not a rush. Your rent is not going up. You ain't have to worry about if the owner's selling the property. You ain't got to worry about any of that stuff, right? You have an opportunity to plan out your next move. So now you can say, all right, I got a place now that's probably going to appreciate 2, 3%, maybe 5, depending on where we're at. In 5 years, I should have this amount of equity based on just current level appreciation. Guys, what that do for you now, that gives you an opportunity to put that down as a down payment. Now we talking, right? So now even if you accumulate 30, 40 grand in that home in 5 years, you have 30 and 40 grand you can put down as a down payment and still go out and get down payment assistance, right? For closing costs. Now what does that do? That increase your buying power. You got to increase your buying power in 2 ways. Either you find a way to create equity for yourself or you find a way to make more income. Those are the 2 things we focus on. Flat out, right? Because if you continue to rent, your life will never change if you truly aspire. And again, this is for people that are looking for an opportunity to own a home or own a piece of real estate. That's who I'm talking to. I'm not trying to convince anyone to own real estate that doesn't want it, right? It's not for everyone, but for the people that are, we have to change the way we think about real estate. And for me, like I said, I speak on around the country on some of these things. I'm on Zooms, all type of things. And what we have to understand is that if you're in a program that's still telling you need to open an account and budget, we're way behind. We're way behind. Because now, by the time you learn the basics, financial literacy, the basics, that is still the basics in 2025, you are lost in the sauce when it comes to where we're going, right? In the digital world, right? Like even for my company, like we're being a pioneer in affordable housing with tokenized real estate because that gives me the opportunity to go out, raise money with social impact people from that community to own a piece of that community with me, right? So you don't have to get displaced. You can have a piece of your own community with me. That's what this thing is intended for. But it's all based on technology. We are investing in the blockchain, meaning that when you invest in our projects, we are tokenizing the asset, right? Meaning that we're breaking it down block by block to have pieces that we can sell off or have other people in the community to invest in, right? But this is on blockchain. So my problem with all this stuff is if the world is already moving towards blockchain and, just digital currency, the crypto, all those things, we still sitting here talking about bank accounts. We're still here talking about budgeting. Guys, we got to get serious. You got to get serious. Like you got to have a strategic plan for your acquisition plan. Like I'm going to need you to not just sit and wait and hope that you own a home one day. We have to get serious about it. Like we all understand credit. Credit is a pivotal pillar that we have to have. Everybody has to increase their credit, make it better for a lot of different reasons. It is just great stewardship because if you're first generation, that means you don't have a lot of cash hanging around, right? So credit is a way to leverage the opportunity to access capital, whether you're buying a home or not, right? It is also, a thing that deters people from getting jobs. Like some jobs, if you get really, really high, they want to know your credit score. They want to know if if you're in, especially if you're in banking or anything that touch money, they want to know, are you a great steward of money, right? So credit impacts you at so many levels. So that is something we all must focus on. But the next thing has to be creating more income. We have to focus on it because even if I improve your credit and you're still making $40,000, you still can't have an offer on the market that will be accepted, right? Because we missing the point. The margins has grown too far. And that's okay. So when you go into a place like we normally tend to have, coaching programs have you talk about your credit, and the biggest key is getting, a mortgage. But see what we do, we're going to take this thing a step further, right? We're going to give you a strategic acquisition plan so you know what area you should be looking at. You're going to know what value you should be looking at. Because my thing for you is if I can't create or get you the dream home, I need you to switch over to investment, right? And what we do at Pursuit to Own is a little bit different because we get you once we get you in our ecosystem, we stay with you. That's the difference. Like this is not a transaction. This is transformational, right? You're in our ecosystem. And guess what? I'm not in it just to have you just own your first home. I want you to take that next step. Yeah, that's right. I want you to take the next step and own an investment property with a purpose. Yes, I am teasing that because I'm so ecstatic about what we're doing at Pursuit Home. A, we are on the front lines fighting for first-time home buyers, and B, we are providing just opportunity to people that's underserved. Right? We're going to get to the point where we're going to create an ecosystem that can be scaled, and it can be something that is attainable. And all that happens with our platform, Pursuit to Own, and our Pursuit to Own token. That's one segment of it. But before we even get to that part of it, it's here. It is here. I need you to get your mind. If you can't, if you're listening, I'm pointing to my mind because I know how difficult it is for someone to apply principles of success when you're struggling. I know how hard it is for someone to apply principles of success when you're struggling, right? We're just trying to get to the next hour, the next minute, just trying to survive, right? Once you in that state, no one makes great decision in that state, right? That is called duress. And if you're under stress, you're in duress. So we don't make the best decisions, right? At that point, what we do is try to avoid pain. That's what we do, right? So what I'm trying to do is teach you in this world of your journey to real estate is also how to structure your life, right? Because it's going to take you to be a different person. Like I'm going to need a different version of you to make this happen. Because if the version of you could have done it before, you would already had a house, right? The version you currently are, if you could have did it, you would already done it. So that's the other part people miss. Like I'm going to need the next version of you. That's what Pursuit to Own does. Like we create the next version of you and then we put you on a path to ownership. But don't skip over that first step. And that's the part where I lose people. But it's okay if I lose people, right? Because I know that is the most important step, right? Because the person that that won't invest in themselves do not need to be investing in real estate. Honestly, if you're first generation, if you can't figure out how to invest in yourself, you don't need to be trying to figure out how to invest in real estate, especially getting people to help you, right? We have to start with you, right? We got to take that story and that struggle and turn that into success, right? We got to take all that pain and make it into a purpose, right? We got to take all the stuff that caused you these issues and make it your competitive advantage. That is what people want to see. That is when partners want to get on board and start to help believe in you, right? So we all suffer in silence. Like, I love to, apply principles about real estate and life because, they have a lot of parallel for me as I go through life. Some of the things that I apply to when I'm struggling, mentally, emotionally, or when I'm losing money on a project and I'm doing all that, I have to get my own framework together. And it's pretty much the same thing. We have to get control of your mind. Because if you sit there and only focus about all the bad things, you're just going to paralyze yourself. You're not going to go anywhere. Trust me, I did it. I spent nights, I spent days trying to fight the darkness for coming. You can feel it. When you're in that space, right? You got to figure out how to get you out of that space. You got to figure out where is the light. Where's the light? And you got to run to it. You have to run to it. We all face it. No one's perfect. We all have our time of weakness. But the person that's in pursuit to understand that this is only for a season, it gives you the ability to breathe and know that it is not going the way I want it to go today, right? We are in the trenches. We are literally in the trenches fighting for a better life today. But I know I'm going to win this war of success this year. And that's what you got to do. Like, you got to put yourself so mentally in that space that you know where you're going. Because, you know, when you're fighting in the trenches and you're struggling, you're just trying to get up. You're using all your energy just trying to get up. You're right. You're just trying to survive. That takes a lot of effort. That takes a lot of energy. And I commend all the people that have to do that on a daily basis. But at some point in that trench, somebody got to have the courage to come out. Somebody has to stick their head up and see who's out there that causing them this pain, right? And that person got to be you. Because the people that are still in that trenches, they're looking at you. They're looking at you. This is how heroes are born. This is how heroes are born, right? Someone willing to get out of that trench, expose themselves to danger for the benefit of others. Man, you get no better than that. And once you understand that and you put it in your mind, like, you know, this is not just about me, I promise you, you will start to frame things differently, right? Same thing with home ownership. I see it everywhere. I see it being marketed to you. I see it all over the place. But we have to make it attainable. We have to make it attainable. I need someone to say, these current programs we have, we're just in the trenches fighting, right? We're just fighting in the trenches to trying to get out. And that is not what you need if you're trying to acquire real estate in today's market. I need the people that are willing to step out of the trenches, assess the situation, meaning we're going to assess your credit, we're going to assess your financial, place in life, and we're going to assess strategically where are some real opportunities for you to own and live. And we're also going to take a step further, like, is this a 2-year plan? Is this a 5-year plan, right? These are the things we have to do. We got to treat single home families now like commercial properties. That's why commercial properties are so great, right? Because it's really not based on appreciation. It's based on income, right? That's why people flock to, bigger commercial problem, because if you just change the delta a little bit and increase the income or the net operating income of that property, it doesn't just go up by that $50. In the value standpoint, based on the cap rate, I know we get a little far with this, that could be $1 million value creation for yourself. That's why people do commercial real estate. And that's why they tend to stay away from, single family home, because it's not the same. But I need you to start to look at it and get to the point where you're building a portfolio. And now we're talking, right? So the message for today is simply, we have to change our strategy if you're buying a home in 2025. If you're first generational, I'm going to need you to have a 2-pronged approach to home ownership. The number one is, what is the most desired house I can find that's in my marketplace that is semi or something affordable that I can attain financially? That's one. But I'm going to need that second one too, because what we can't do is just waste the opportunity. Because if you go in the market and you get beat out, you don't get any of your deals accepted in that price range, then that's what's going to continue to happen to you. And what happens is, it's going to put this fear in you of missing out, right? And what happens is, you negotiate something, or your realtor negotiate something on your behalf to try to make your offer look stronger. But at the end of the day, it really create more risk for you, right? When you do that, when you give up something, you're taking on more risk, and that is what we got to understand. And that's a hard thing to swallow. Like, hey, I can't get this. But if I could say, if you had a strategic plan, say, this is me today, this is me 5 years from now, I promise you that buying decision will be a little bit different, right? Because now, to you, all you want to do is figure out a way over that next 5 years to keep your expenses down and keep that property appreciating, right? And you're building your nest egg, and now it's on your time. It's on your, you're not forced out. It's on your time. You get a chance to breathe, think, really be strategic. Who knows? If you're on the path of progress, that property, I mean, that community may have changed in 5 years. Maybe you don't want to leave anymore, right? Maybe the thing that you ran away for is the thing that made you the most wealth in your life because you had a plan. You had a plan. And that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, every day that goes by is an opportunity cost. It's opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the cost of not doing something, right? Or putting it off. What is the cost of that? If I don't do this today, what is it going to cost me? Right? And why I am making this such a point, and I will be speaking out, and I want you to share this video because I need you to get this message out. Right? I am watching the American dream die for so millions of people. I'm literally watching the American dream die for millions of people. And we need to change our approach. That is why Pursuit to Own is here. And the biggest thing we can do is reframe your mindset, get your credit together, get your finances in order. But we got to get a strategic plan. We have to. Like, you got to attack homeownership as an investment. And I know that's a shift, but whereas the market's going, we don't have a lot of options. And when I say first generation, like, it's people with great jobs getting beat out in the market. This is not like I'm talking about people that barely work. These are people that got great job, managers, all type of things. Can't afford a home. Why? If you're a family of four, just say you got 2 kids, inflation is killing you, right? I'm watching multiple people every day when I go to the grocery store spend their down payment money in the grocery store. Not because they want to, it's just what environment we're in, right? What do I mean by that? When you look at, just say, the cost of eggs, since that is a very hot topic right now, right? If you're spending 300% more for eggs, and you have a growing family, and you're spending, I don't know, $500 to $600 extra just on food, just if you maintain your current lifestyle. Well, by the end of the year, that's $6,000, right? That $6,000 is normally what contributes to someone's 3% down payment. So I'm watching all these first-time home buyers spend their down payment money in the grocery store. Right? That is what's happening. There's no savings here. They have to spend their money in the grocery store right now. These are the people I'm talking to. I'm sure somebody, can I get an amen out there? I know somebody knows what I'm talking about. When you are incurring $5,000 to $6,000 more just for a normal route, this ain't a trip. This ain't a new car. This is just you eating food and providing food for your family. $300, $400, $500 more. Not eating out, just regular grocery store. I'm watching you spend your down payment money, your 3% down payment money, out in the grocery stores every month. So these are the things I'm saying that are affecting you that you got to take in consideration. Like, this is not lightly. We got that delta. We got to figure out, how do we overcome the income loss, right? That savings loss. How do we do that? Like, that's what Pursuit to Own is here for. That's when we get strategic plans together, because if we can identify these problems, then when you start looking at homes and real estate, it will make more sense to you what you can afford. Because the thing I cannot stand is when someone buys a home and becomes a prisoner day one. They do all this work, get the home, and they're a prisoner. Why? Because their life didn't stop because they bought a home. Didn't stop. If you was tight on funding and cash before the home, you're going to be tight on money and funding after the home, right? And these are the things we try to address. with Pursuit to Own at our program, so that when you actually get the home, you can enjoy the home and you're not a prisoner of the home, right? Because you know me, you know, the whole thing about, just not being a prisoner of pain, right, is huge, and I think it's beneficial to so many people because it's freeing, right? If you get to the point where you have a plan, you can avoid some of the pain, and that's what we're here to do today. So today was a great one. I'm really dialed in on, like, if you're a first-time home buyer, you have to change your strategy, right? All first-time home buyers have to change their strategy in today's market. And if you want an organization that's going to be there for you when you buy the home and when you close and every day after that, come to Pursuit to Own. We're here for you. I look forward to you all, the great people in Pursuit today. And in the meantime, to the next time, stay in pursuit. Let's go. Thank you for listening to the Pursuit to Own podcast. If today's episode inspired you, don't stop here. Take the next step toward owning your future. Visit pursuitToOwn.com to sign up and join our growing community of wealth builders. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Pursuit to Own for updates, tips, and success stories. Together, we're turning dreams into assets. Until next time, stay in pursuit.